Good morning, students. So, as I already covered the last chapter, that is chapter 1 of part B book. Today I am going to start with new chapter, that is interior of the earth. Okay. So, as the name suggests, interior of the earth. So, what we are going to study here? We are going to study the different things which we have found beneath the earth. इंटीरियर ऑफ अर्थ के अंदर हम लोग को क्या क्या चीज़ें मिलती है, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट लेयर्स, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स, व्हाट आर द एविडेंसेस, कैन वी एबल टू रीच इनसाइड द अर्थ, एंड इफ इट इज पॉसिबल देन अप टू विच डेप्थ वी कैन reach there. All these things we will cover here. The obvious question, if we are going to discuss about the earth, the obvious question is, what do you imagine about the nature of the earth? How you feels like, or shape, size? Is earth is solid ball like a cricket ball, or a hollow ball with a thick cover of rocks, that is lithosphere? So earth is how? Obvious question is just give me a second. Obvious question is that, is earth complete solid, filled from inside, or earth is a hollow with only top coverings is there and inside is hollow? So these are the obvious questions. So earth is a solid ball like a cricket ball, or a hollow with a thick cover of rocks, that is lithosphere. This top layer is called lithosphere. Now, can you have ever seen the photograph or images of the volcanic eruption over your mobile screen, or over a computer, or over a television screen? समवेयर कहीं वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन का फोटो देखे हो? जब वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन होता है तो वहाँ से हॉट, देयर वाज एन इमर्जेंस ऑफ हॉट molten magma, dust, smoke, fire, all these things are there. Lava is there, molten magma is there, all these things flowing out of the volcanic crater. So जहाँ पे volcanic, जहाँ से eruption होता है, the mouth of a volcano is called volcanic crater. So had you ever seen it, these things, or not? All these things can provide you or give you and proper idea about the interior of the earth. Interior of the earth can well be understood by direct evidences or not. Is there possible that we can go inside and reach up to the bottom or the most interior part of the earth, that is in the earth core? No, it is not possible. Neither anyone has nor anyone can reach the interior of the earth. This is not possible. And that's why maximum of the evidences that we quote or that we uses is indirect evidences. So we will look into the direct evidences about the interior of the earth, as well as indirect evidences about the interior of the earth. So all these things we will cover in this chapter. Configuration of the surface of the earth is largely a product of a processes operating in the interior of the earth. So a kind of like different, today's whatever we see, today's the surface which we see, today's landforms which we see over the surface of the earth is a consequences of the product of the different processes operating beneath the surface of the earth. There is two type of forces here. One is exogenic and second one is endogenic. So exogenic forces and endogenic forces are two different type of forces, and interplay of these exogenic and endogenic processes are constantly shaping the present or the constantly shaping the change in the landscape of the earth's surface. So whatever things are happening is due to interplay of these two forces, exogenic and endogenic. What are these two forces, exogenic forces and endogenic forces? Exogenic and endogenic. Endogenic forces are those forces which apply from inside the earth, so beneath the earth, like volcanic eruption, earthquake, tsunami, all these things because of movement of some plate. We never seen these things. Okay, the earth's surface is divided into different plates, and because of movement of these plates, some sort of forces or some sort of energy is created beneath the earth in a form of earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami, etc., etc. And these type of forces are called endogenic forces. So as you remember that एक बार अर्थक्वेक आता है तो क्या होता है, पूरे लेट सपोज पटना में अर्थक्वेक आ गया और हाई मैग्नीट्यूड का अर्थक्वेक आया, व्हाट विल हैपन, द एंटायर लैंडस्केप ऑफ द पटना विल चेंज. काठमांडू में आया था just 4-5 years back, there was an earthquake in Kathmandu, and if earthquake is of high magnitude, it can change within a short interval a complete landscape of the surface of that region or place. So endogenic forces are very fast with high magnitude, which will change entire landscape within a fraction of seconds. So earthquake आता है तो पूरा का पूरा बदल जाता है, all the things completely turn over. So these are endogenic forces. What are exogenic? Exogenic forces are those forces which exert over the surface of the earth from outside the earth. Exogenic, outside the earth, forces which applied on the surface of the earth from outside earth, and these forces also constantly works towards the shaping of the landscapes. But these forces are comparatively slower. Endogenic forces are very faster. Within a fraction of second, all the things changed. But in case of exogenic forces are slower forces, and it also shapes the surface of the landscape or landscape of the earth's surface. But this will apply over a long time, and this will act slowly and slowly. Like earth surface के ऊपर rainfall, one rain drops, एक बार जब रेन ड्रॉप्स आके हिट करता है, सो इट्स लाइक जहां पर भी वो हिट कर रहा है थोड़ा ना थोड़ा सा क्रैक डेवलप होता है, एंड देन मूवमेंट ऑफ विंड. सो विंड जब मूव करता है तो ये जो छोटे मोटे पार्टिकल्स रेनफॉल के कारण जो सेग्रीगेटेड हो गए थे, लूजन डाउन हो गए थे, जो कि लूजली पैक्ड हो गए थे, ये विंड इनको ब्लो करके ट्रांसपोर्ट कर देता है सम अदर प्लेसेस, आके यहाँ डिपॉजिट हो जाते हैं. सेम वे, so one of the example is rainfall, second one is flow of wind, third one in a river water. Sometimes they used to cut down the segments of the land near to river coast and they used to deposit it somewhere else. माउंटेन से जब रिवर फ्लो करती है, they used to cut deep gorges, और यहाँ से जो भी मटेरियल है they used to deposit it over the lower course of the river, so that in a lower course delta will form. So all these things water action. Other exogenic forces are like glacier. So let's suppose this is a land part, over a time this is frozen. So as you know that ice density is lesser than that of water. So if there is a depression that got filled up with water, and once it converted into ice, that will develop a crack over this area, and in the next season again when rain occurs, that will turn into a larger depression. So it's like ice में जब बनता है, जब glacier converted into the ice, at that time cracks is developed throughout the surface of the land area or depression, and in the next season that depression will maximizes and so on. So size of the depression increases. One another example of exogenic forces, one is wind action, then water action, river water, then ice action, then we have seen rainfall, and next one is temperature. So due to change in temperature, summer winter, there is contraction and then repulsion, which ultimately lead towards the development of cracks. And then again, so this way actually erosion, decomposition, and then transportation to other place, then settlement of there. So erosion and deposition, that will took place, and in a long run entire mountain can be converted into the relic mountain like that of Aravali. Once Aravali was one of the largest mountain of the world, and nowadays it is like a relic mountain. So all these things occurs because of exogenic forces. So whatever we see over the surface of the earth, that is because of the consequences or because of the interplay of these two forces, exogenic and endogenic forces. A proper understanding of the physiographic character of a region remains incomplete if the effect of endogenic forces are ignored. So why endogenic forces are more important? It is more important because it is sudden, it is very fast, and it will change in high magnitude. So within a short interval it will completely change the things. Exogenic forces are very slow. So that's why exact physiographic characteristics or exact landscape can better understood with the study of endogenic forces. And if the effect of endogenic processes are ignored, a proper understanding of physiographic character of any country or region or any physiographic division is not possible. So major role is played by endogenic processes. And we know that human life is largely influenced by the physiography of a region. So whether the region is hilly region or plain region or a plateau region or a island or a coastal plain, whether the region is desert region or a region of high rainfall. So all these things, fertile land or not, so all these physiography will completely impact the human life. The place human lives, the physiography of that place will completely and largely influence the life of us. So therefore it is necessary that one gets acquainted with the forces that influences the landform development. So it is necessary that we know these forces, exogenic and endogenic forces, as I already explained, because this will influence the physiography, which in turn influences our life completely. Okay, we will see it into the detail when we will look into a single topic. Okay, now to understand why the earth shakes and how a tsunami wave is generated, it is necessary that we know certain details of the interior of the earth. So why the earth shakes, why tsunami happens, why volcanic eruption took place. To understand all details, we need to have a proper understanding or certain detail, at least certain detail of the surface of the earth. Let me explain you. Our surface is made up of three layers. Topmost layer is crust, then second most is this one is mantle, and last one is core. And it got further subdivided like core, inner core, like this one. It can be better understood with this figure. Let me show you this one. So you can watch it here. You can easily have an understanding. Earth radius is around 6,370 kilometer, and you can easily watch the top layer, which is seems like a bluish one, blue वाला जो दिख रहा है top वाला, approximately around 20 to 30 kilometer, up to the depth of 30 kilometer. That is the earth crust. So this is the top layer. Then from the crust up to the depth of 2,900 kilometer, that is the part of mantle. So this orange part is a part of mantle. And then further down you can easily see the last one is crust. So crust is up to the depth of 6,370 kilometer, and crust have two division, outer crust and inner crust. Outer crust is a deep yellowish and inner crust is light yellowish. So there is, you can easily see the four division is there. I am saying wrongly, it's not crust, it's outer core and inner core. So you can easily see the four division: crust, mantle, and then core. And core has two division, outer core and inner core. Outer core is deep yellow and inner core is light yellow. So this is the division of earth. So earth is divided into different layers from crust to core. Okay, so all these things are already studied in the previous chapter, and you all have noted that earth forming material has been distributed in the form of layers. That earth is made up of some materials, and that material is made up of different layers. That material is distributed in a form of different layer from crust to core. Now it is very interesting that how scientists have gathered the information about these layers. ये लेयर तो बता दिया मैंने, क्रस्ट होता है, मेंटल होता है, कोर होता है. कोई देखने गया है अंदर? How the scientists gather the information about these layers, and how they know about the characteristics of each of these layer. बोलते हैं ना कि क्रस्ट इज लाइक अ सॉलिड वन, मेंटल इज लाइक अ molten or lava semi solid like molten magma form, and then inner core is highly dense. सियाल, सीमा, ये सब सुना होगा, क्लास 9th में या 10th में पढ़ा होगा. दैट जब आएगा तो मैं डिटेल में बताऊंगा. ओके, सो हाउ the scientists know about the characteristics of each of these layers, how they segregated that earth is divided into three layers. Crust का ही width क्या है? 30 kilometer. Crust is up to the depth of 30 kilometer, and we never reach a depth beyond 12 kilometer. At max we reaches, मतलब कि that is also a special scientist exploration, scientific drill. Otherwise hardly we can reach at a depth of 2 or 3 kilometer or 4 kilometer. 3-4 किलोमीटर से ज़्यादा हम जा ही नहीं सकते हैं. We cannot go inside earth. So how the scientists gathered this information about three layer and what are the characteristics of each of these layer? And in this chapter we are going to especially deals with these things. These are the main focus point of this chapter. Okay, so how the scientists know the information regarding the interior of the earth. So we will see into that part in detail. Okay, so I am stopping today's video here itself. We will start with the next class. Okay, bye bye, see you in the next class.